what is happening in the United States is of concern to Nigeria. It's of concern to the Christians, it's of concern to the Muslims. Because the moment they bring sanctions, sanctions will breed poverty. Poverty knows no religion. So for me, engagement will be the best. So when we go into executive session, we can decide to set up a small ad hoc committee to go to United States or America and engage our colleague parliamentarians there. And then to also educate them. Because if you see what these people are doing, most of them are outsiders. When they come and start spraying bullets from GP, or what do you call it, or they throw rocket, they are not throwing rocket into the crowd, targeting a particular religion. They are killing Nigerians. I don't know who will now go and sit down and bring out maybe the dead bodies and say, this one is a Christian, this one is from this family, this must be a Muslim. So we are facing a situation whereby these terrorists are trying to terminate the lives of Nigerians. And then, of course, frustrate us from going into the farms, producing food to feed ourselves. So this discussion will be better in a closed session. And I think at the end of the day, we should actually have a small team that should visit our colleagues and also put the other side. Because some people must have gone there to give a one-sided story. And at the end, it will now look as if only Christians are being killed by terrorists in Nigeria. But I can tell you that a lot of Muslims have lost their lives in the last 5-10 years. The same way Christians have also lost their lives. So my personal opinion is that Nigerians have lost their lives as a result of insurgencies, banditry, and others. So if you look at what is happening in the Southeast, predominantly Christians, most of those that are killed in the Southeast, including the late husband of our demised icon, Dora Akunyili, the way the man was shot dead and everything, will you come and ascribe that to religion? I'm talking about what IPOP is doing. You see brothers killing brothers. Okay, so the sit-at-home that is going on Mondays in the Southeast that has almost crippled the economy of the Southeast. Is it targeted at Christians or Muslims? So Nigeria has complex security situations, and we should actually go out there and educate people so that they will know what to do. But when they just come out with a one-sided motion, it means they have a target, and that target is to strangulate the economy of Nigeria. That's my personal opinion. So it's left to us as a parliament to take proactive actions and be strategic in our response. If we stay here to give figures and instances where Muslims were killed or where Christians were killed, then we are not helping the situation. Ours should be, what do we do to ensure what Senator Jimmy Ibrahim said, counter terrorism? How do we respond to the guerrilla tactics of the terrorists, whether internal or external aggressors? So let's go into the prayers. Is there anybody that is opposed to this motion? No, actually, I was about to look at your side because I think a lot of Heavenlies have also been killed in the. Is there anybody that is opposed to this motion? Okay, so let me thank distinguished Senator Alain Dume for bringing this motion to the fore, and to say that if we restrict ourselves to the prayers here, we will tend to miss the point. The issues are too complex. The actions of the international community very worrisome and capable of having adverse effects on Nigerians of all faiths and the economy of the country. It's also capable of affecting the dignity of Nigerians wherever they go to. Therefore, we must have a strategy to approach this issue. And so, leader of the Senate, my personal opinion is that this has been brought to the fore of the Senate, and then we must have exhaustive deliberations in closed session on this, and then we must also come up with a strategy to correct the misinterpretation, the misinformation, and at the same time educate the international community. So we may not need to go into item by item on these prayers. Yes?
Thank you, Mr. President, and distinguished, well spoken. My motion actually will be one to say that we recognize that this motion has been thoroughly debated, and that no member of this Senate is opposed to this motion. However, in view of the sensitivity of the issues involved, I would just say that let our resolution here today on the basis of this motion be that as a Senate, it is our conviction that the insecurity problem, the insecurity challenge in Nigeria is not religion-driven. And having said that, as a resolution on the basis of our discussion here, that we will now step down further consideration of this motion, especially the prayers, till the next legislative day, which is Tuesday next week, when we can have our executive session, to discuss these prayers as well as other related matters, and also our impending security summit, and possible delegation that we will be sending to the international community. I believe these are things that we need to resolve in an executive session, and then we'll be able to take a final decision, and then you can come back to plenary to report progress on our discussion in that regard. But again, I say that let it be resolved that this Senate is totally in support of this motion, and it is the view of this Senate that our insecurity challenge in Nigeria is not religion-driven. I so move, Mr. President.
And I represent Bauchi Central. Based on the position adequately raised by the Senate leader, I second the motion most appropriately that this motion is unanimously agreed, adopted, but proper reaction to this motion should be stepped down until when we have an executive session on Tuesday next week to come up with appropriate mechanisms in dealing with this matter, as criminality and crisis in Nigeria is not driven by religious sentiment. I so second, Mr. President.
Support that this motion is noted and accepted by the Senate, but further to have a comprehensive discussion on ways and means of responding to the international threats to Nigeria, particularly where insecurity in Nigeria is multifaceted and not only religious-driven, but very complex, so that we can come up with a proper strategy that will not only address the issues, but also clean the image of Nigeria so that we don't criminalize any particular section or any particular religion. Those in support of this submission say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So we thank Senator Ndume for bringing this to the fore. We have noted it. We will go into executive session on Tuesday, sit down and discuss the strategy of engagement and our response so that it will be multifaceted, and other areas would have been consulted, such as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the presidency and others, so that we know ways to address the proposed bills in the United States, Canada, or any other place. And particularly, we know how to address the views of the international community and assuage the feelings of Nigerians.